you're doing great. So today we'll be looking into a parabola. We're going to study a parabola that is on the axis. First of all, we must know that what does it mean by a parabola on the axis? Well, we all know that a parabola is shaped like this, that is originated by a point that is known as vertex. Well, I have drawn a parabola like this, but usually a parabola is drawn like this, like from a simple singular point that we usually call vertex. So a parabola on the axis actually means when the vertex is on the axis and the parabola is originated like this. The axis of symmetry of parabola that we have studied in our last lecture and a lecture before that as well, that the axis of parabola is actually a line that cuts parabola into half. If just suppose a parabola is actually drawn here, so the axis of symmetry will be like this. Okay, so in the condition where parabola is on the axis, the axis of symmetry is also on the axis. Here in this condition, the parabola's vertex is actually creating an equation. And let me just change the color of my pen so it will be more visible to you all. But then we'll reduce it. Yeah, so the vertex equation is actually 0 by 0. In our previous lectures, we have studied one of the most important concepts of a focal point, a focus point. So the focus point is somehow generated here. So the point here would be, first of all, the y-axis is 0. So we'll keep this part 0 and this part will be considered as A. This is what? This is the focus point. Let me consider it F. The focus point is A, 0. Then we have studied a concept that is known as the directrix. The directrix is actually a line that is drawn perpendicular to the vertex of the parabola. So the equation for the directrix of the parabola would be somehow minus A, 0, right? Then the axis of symmetry will be equal to x-axis. X-axis where y would be equal to 0. Then again we do have a concept of lattice rectum. What is lattice rectum? Lattice rectum is a point that actually coincides with 2 points on the parabola and is perpendicular to the what? To the focal point, to the axis of symmetry. This is called the lattice rectum. So here we all know that the length of the lattice rectum is equal to 4a mod. And here the equation for the lattice rectum would be positive a, 0. So this is how we find out the elements of the parabola. Just suppose for a while, let me see first, have we completed all the terms? Yes, we had. So this was a conclusion, a thing that we find out for all the axes. Now let's write it down. First of all, what we find out that the focus point, the basic focus point for the elements. First, let's find out the vertex. Here, the vertex is what? Vertex is y is equal to 0. And our parabola is actually of what? Of x-axis. Sorry, the x-axis parabola. Then we do have focus point. Focus point is x is equal to a. Then the directrix is x is equal to minus a. Then the axis of symmetry is what? Axis of symmetry is equal to x is equal to no, x is equal to not. It would be y is equal to 0. And axis of symmetry would be somehow this. Then lattice rectum was also x is equal to a. Then again length of lattice rectum was 4 times a and its mod. So this is how we find out all the things. Now one of the important component is equation of parabola. Always keep this in mind that whensoever you are studying the equation of parabola. So for the equation of parabola where the parabola is on the axis, we do have x square is equal to 4a times y. This is the equation for parabola that is on the y-axis. For the x-axis, what we'll do, we'll replace this y with x and this by y square. Now first keep this in mind. Whensoever you want to find out by looking into the equation, if you want to find out that on which axis this parabola is, specifically if it's the axis based parabola. The parabola is on the axis and you guys know it that this parabola is on the axis. So how could you find this thing out? That is it on the x-axis or is it on the y-axis? So first you need to find out that with 4a which of the coordinate is mentioned, which of the axis is mentioned. Here it is y-axis, so we'll directly say that this is x-axis parabola. If in a situation here it is written x square is equal to 4ay, so we'll say this is a y-axis parabola. This is a short trick to find out the axis of the parabola if it's on the axis. Then again, the equation of parabola is done. Now let's move on to the questions that were given in the side of the our mathematics book, exercise 9.1 if I'm not wrong. Let me see if it's 9.1 or something like that. Give me a minute, guys. Yeah, this is 9.1 and these are the two questions that we guys gonna actually solve out. So first of all, for this, here it is written draw the parabolas, but for sure we're not gonna focus on drawing the parabola. We're gonna first focus on identify the parabola. Then we could draw the parabola for sure. First is identify the parabola. So for this one question, take your time and find out on which axis it is. Yes, you are right. It is the x-axis parabola since with 10 it is written x. Now, I have a question for you guys. What you could actually see, what times the 4 is actually equal to the 10? Let's say 10 upon 4, 4a is equal to 10 and here a is equal to 10 upon 4 where it would be 4 ones are 4 and let's say 4 twos are 8 point 2 would be left. Let's just simply divide it. It will be 4 and 10 and 2 and 8 and 2 and then point and 0.5 and there here would be so it's 2.5. So 2.5 times the a 4 would be 10. So here we got the value of a. That is what? That is 2.5. So our focus point is what? Our focus point is 2.5, comma 0. Since it's y-axis form. And then again directrix would be minus 2.5. And then lattice rectum would be minus 2.5. And for the length of lattice rectum, I told you guys that what you need to do first, 4 times a, that is again 10. So 10 mod is equal to positive 10. So this would be the length of lattice rectum. Then what we could further follow up is vertex. Vertex would be 0, 0 since it's on the axis. One more thing, how could you actually find out that is the parabola on the axis or not? So well, if you got equation like this, so for sure it's the parabola not on the axis. It's the parabola which is having the value of y and value of the x separately. So this is how you find out the parabola. So here it is in the form of 4ax. So this is on the axis. Well, for the first question, let's start drawing the parabola. For this first question, let's say that this parabola is on what? On the x-axis. So first we'll draw a parabola like this. Then the value of a, that means the value of the focus point is what? 2.5. So here it is written 2.5. On the 2.5 we draw the focus point. So this is how you make a parabola. Then again for the question number 2, here, if you have gone through my previous lecture, I mentioned there one thing that we do have 4 types of parabola in our normal parabolic conic section. First parabola is this, then this, then this, and then this. This one is left hand parabola, this one is right hand. Both of the parabolas are referred by the x-axis. That means if our equation is 4ax, that means it's a right side parabola. If an equation is minus 4x, y square is equal to minus 4ax, then it's a left side parabola. If an equation says that x square is equal to 4ay, it's an upward parabola. If an equation says x square is equal to minus 4ay, it's an downwards parabola. This is how you identify the all the 4 kinds of parabolas, where here the minus sign is written, so we could easily identify that this is a left side, downside parabola. So it will be created somehow like this, downwards parabola. It will be like this. Then again, to find the value of 4y, so first we'll keep it 4a is equal to 12, then a is equal to 3. 4 ones are 4, 4 twos are 8, 4 threes are 12. So the a value is 3, and I have told you in the previous lecture how could you find the value of all the elements, including focus, directrix, lattice rectum, length of lattice rectum, vertex, each and everything. Then let's move on to the third question, that is y square minus x. Now first we need the simplification. Let's move on to the simplification first. And I think we won't be able to cover the second question in the same video, so I'll upload another video for the second question. So for now, let's focus on the first question. So here you could see we do have an equation that needs simplification. So first we'll keep all the y-axis equations one side. So it will become something like this. Now let's keep all the x-axis equations on the one side. So let's say y square minus 2y, and let's keep y common, and it will be x minus 1. Here it is positive, after going there it is negative, after going there it will become positive. So y square minus 2y would be equal to x plus 1. Then again we need simplification. For the simplification we'll take y common, and after taking y common we would have this, that's equal to x plus 1. Okay, so this is the equation that we got, and this is kind of complex equation since we are not having a proper scenario how to solve it down. So we're gonna cover this thing in later on, since it's not an equation that is on the axis, it's not in circle that is on the axis. Let's check out this one if it's the same, so we'll not solve it down. Well, after seeing it, we do have a constant, and always the constant is the thing that cannot be solved down, and that doesn't actually predicts that this thing is on the axis. So we'll skip this one as well. Thank you so much for watching the video. Stay tuned for future videos. Thank you so much.